So here we go again. Samsung on the blue side this time, of course. KT swapping over to red. And there's that Thresh ban for Samsung right off the bat.
Samsung banning Thresh both times. Fixer is so dangerous on that champion. Azir will be banned this time by KT after they first picked it on the blue side in the last game. So the question is, what else is KT going to ban? They're going to have to ban that Kalista, especially since Fury is the main threat on Samsung. You don't want them Fury to get huge on a Kalista out of the laning phase, which means they're going to have to let Lulu, Gragas, LeBlanc go, which were their bans last time around. There is this Sejuani ban.
Now, do you think they would maybe try to ban out Jinx and try to first pick Kalista, perhaps? Or is that just too wild?
No, you cannot give Kalista up if you're KT. Just giving Fury a way to carry out of the laning phase is very silly, because Samsung really relies on Fury to get huge and win them games these days.
So they're going to ban it right here.
KT should ban Kalista, yes.
Gragas, the ban for Samsung. And what's it going to be for KT?
Unless they think they have a very clever laning answer to this Kalista, it would be pretty dangerous to let it through.
Blitzcrank. Yeah, well, maybe old Blitzcrank. KT thinking long and hard about it.
Samsung could first pick LeBlanc in this situation, however.
Yeah.
Okay, whoa.
Wow, so is it going to be that Kalista first pick? Does Samsung give that up?
Well, they're thinking about the LeBlanc right now. They may want to pick that. Of course, LeBlanc for Nagne is a real threat as well.
True, but what's the higher priority? I think Kalista is right now, yeah.
Definitely you take Kalista if you're Samsung right here. You need Fury to carry you, and this is a way that he's going to be able to go monstrous in the laning phase, get a couple of kills, and then transition. And so there we go. Kalista will be the first pick. I think this is a major mistake. Why ban the Nunu? We'll see if KT has a plan, though.
Well, you can get something like Gnar Rek'Sai or Hecarim Rek'Sai out of this, too. You can still get like
take LeBlanc Rek'Sai right here.
Yeah, that's true, too. LeBlanc Rek'Sai would be pretty amazing.
That way you have the early game jungler, and you're going to force Eve onto something a little less comfortable with 3 jungle bans already in this game. I think you have to take the Rek'Sai, and then Eve is maybe going to go on to Nidalee.
Rek'Sai LeBlanc, yep. There we go. True enough. Maybe we'll see that Evelynn, I suppose, as well. Or does it seem like it's pretty much only Anarchy that wants to do that these days?
Well, you could see it, but I think that if I'm Samsung right now, I'm going to try and all in on this Kalista. I want something that can have some really good early presence to get the Kalista rolling. And we know that Eve is a great Nidalee player, although Nidalee obviously not too present in the current meta. Could get Lee Sin as well. We've been seeing more Lee Sin in the qualifiers in particular. So,
well, you've certainly played enough of that last season. And he did have some pretty incredible plays on Lee Sin as well.
His Lee Sin mechanics are very good. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that from Eve.
Fizz. Really? Are we sure that's Crown in there, or is that Bliss after all? Morgana and then, okay, there we go.
And
Fizz.
They may be taking this Morgana mid again as a possible way to help deal with the LeBlanc pick, but they should take Sivir right here and not Maokai, because they want the double spell shields. They want to do the EDG. Oh, they already have Kalista. What am I talking about? So they can't do it. But the Maokai, good for that damage reduction as well. So trying to go super tanky against the LeBlanc pick to avoid that burst. And there could be the Urgot.
Or the Vayne. What do you think?
I think I am not a fan of Arrow's Vayne in general.
Well, Urgot seems like a pretty good choice to get in there and use a position reverser on Kalista if you can.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be kind of tough. But
yes, Draven.
Oh, boy.
Actually, Draven would not be bad here in terms of countering lane bully with lane bully, and we know how good Arrow's Draven is.
It's a good point.
So you have a bit of a showdown, a snowball showdown in a duo lane, but they're not up for it today. No, going to be Hecarim instead. Hecarim, a good way to deal with Kalista overall, and taking that Urgot as well for the tankiness.
Yep, so KT certainly with the ability so far to dive in onto this Kalista. But Samsung has some pretty good options to stop that from happening. Of course, you know, all of these, Maokai, Morgana, Alistar, all of these are good at disrupting engages. And so Samsung, so far, I mean, it seems to me like if they lock in this Alistar, the pick seems fairly good.
Both of these comps are pretty low sustained damage, however. Especially if they go for a mid lane Morgana, that Kalista has to have an advantage, or else they have pretty much no damage whatsoever.
Would you really want to, I was going to say Vi does not seem like it would work, but Lee Sin, I think that works. Kick people away, kick them into the other teammates.
I think you go Lee Sin, Alistar here and really try and make the kills happen, and that's what they're going to do. So pretty big setup here in the early game, and they've got a lot of opportunities to dive this Urgot right after he gets tier in the duo lane, especially since he's not going to have that Alistar to help protect him on the dives. They're going to have to go for something else.
You know, Bard would actually work pretty well here, because if you can lock up anyone that would prevent you from getting onto Kalista and then get onto Kalista, that could work pretty well. In terms of flanking behind through walls, Magical Journey could be really useful for that. So I actually really like the Bard in this. If they lock it in, they won't, but I want to see Bard, and I feel like it could have worked well there.
I think Braum is definitely a better pick just to play safely.
Only because people aren't good enough with Bard yet.
Well, Bard doesn't help your get tower dove problems here, and that's what they're really concerned with. They see Lee Sin, they see Alistar, they see Kalista. They are diving this Urgot, and they need a way to stop it.
So you just ult yourself, and then they're under turret, just getting hit without being able to hit you. Bard answers, man.
Yeah, well,
Bard answers.
It's nice if they wait to dive you until you hit level 6.
Then you come out of it and you tether them to the turret, so they get hit even more. So Braum, it was a champion that starts with B, but the wrong one.
Yeah, very tanky bottom lane, and someday going to be responsible for dealing a lot of damage right here. Wouldn't surprise me to see him go do the Cinderhulk Trinity Force build that we saw Kuve attempt to execute that last game, except I don't think that Someday is going to be going for Machete first in this one. And other than that, mid Morgana to deal with the LeBlanc, but Kalista is still going to be pretty vulnerable to Hecarim LeBlanc. Not a lot of protection there. Kalista has to get huge because Samsung has no damage in the late game, basically.
Yeah.
Literally zero. Once all you have to do is build armor, Morgana will naturally fall off, and it's going to be a pretty big disaster. So Samsung needs Fury to get kills in lane.
Well, Braum Urgot is like one of the tankiest bot lane duos I think I've ever seen, too. I mean, the ability for Braum to block things with the shield, jump onto Arrow and give him a different shield. Like, this Urgot just isn't going to die.
Well, and how do you dive it now?
Yeah,
they tried to take away the Alistar. Obviously, Alistar, Kalista, pretty good in terms of throwing the Alistar into the enemy team, but Braum is going to provide the necessary tankiness that will make diving this Urgot more difficult. So it's going to be about execution in the early game for Samsung, because if they go even again, KT is going to rapidly outscale them.
That's right. Well, we'll see if Samsung can tie it up or KT gets a 2-0. It's time to get in the game. Find out. Here we go. Welcome once again to Summoner's Rift, Samsung versus KT Rolster. And Samsung getting pretty crushed in game number 1, coming back with what could be a more useful composition this time around, but KT has Giant Enemy Crabgot. That just means you win. That's my analysis for you there.
Everybody just quit the game right now. It's over.
No, it's still going to be entertaining.
I picked the Crabgot skin.
Spoiler alert. Crabgot is in the game. Yep.
Okay, well, looks like we are going to have a lane swap here from KT, not wanting to get into that 2v2 and put themselves at risk, and they should be in a really quite good position right now. There is a Crabgot.
Beautiful. Stunning.
Majestic.
That's right. Pretty hot.
No. You and I have very different tastes, so I'll just leave it at that. I'm not here to criticize you and your tastes, but
hey,
you know,
crab's delicious. You're telling me you don't like crab?
I never said that. You're just now making stuff up.
I'm taking the conversation in a direction that helps me. Can't you see this is happening? That's the trick there. Well, Fixer trying to harass Cuvée and Eve here a little bit while they try to get the Gromp.
This is really annoying for Fixer to do, but Samsung paying the price for starting out on the weak side right there. The freeze is in. Eve really can't pursue this too much, especially with Urgot threatening from the brush in the river, and he's just going to continue to throw out.
Oh boy.
Some CC someday is coming.
Here we go, and they may be able to just muscle this blue buff away, or at least delay things quite a bit.
They have no idea that someday and
Scores here too. Oh yeah, they're gonna get this Fixer. There's a lot of damage. Cuvée knocked back, and that is gonna be first blood for Arrow. How about that? KT right off the bat.
And that's why it's risky.
Oh boy.
To lane swap jungle on the weak side, because the support can just walk in and ruin your day, and then if the enemy started on their strong side, like we saw Score and Someday doing, and Score and Someday started in different camps. Remember, Someday actually hit level 2 off of the Raptors, so they had 2 level 2 champions to deal with, while Cuvée and Eve were both level 1.
Yeah. And they're also...
Well, Eve was level 2, but that was it.
Full Score and Someday are taking the jungle now as well, too. Cuvée walking in. He might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Cuvée.
Bye, Cuvée. Cuvé's like, yep, our jungles are gone. Jungle camps are gone.
I confirmed that our jungle is gone.
Jungle camps are not here. Not anymore. So, pretty rough start for Samsung. And that may be indicative of the rest of this game. Again, I mean, giant enemy Crab God. He got first blood. He's taking down a turret really fast. Skin to win.
Well, this is going to open up a dragon opportunity here for Samsung at the very least. They did see the 2 players from KT inside their jungle after that kill went down, so they're going to know that they have a lot of safety in taking this dragon. Not really any way that KT can deal with it, so at least they're going to be able to take some sort of an advantage after that rather unfortunate start early on in this game.
Sure.
And Nagne pushed up under turret right here as well. Of course, Morgana having that nice wave clear on the tormented soil, so can be a bit difficult for...
Wow. I feel like Samsung's responding really well to this. Taking the dragon and now going in and taking the enemy blue buff as well, too.
And we'll see what actually KT wants to do here. They could try and fast push this turret. For the moment, though, they're happy just denying Cuvée. Someday with that smite is going to have an easier time, of course, farming outside of the lane, freeze down in the bottom for Samsung. And so KT's response is just push down this turret as fast as possible. That's why Score and Someday are up there on the top side again, just to make sure that Cuvée isn't going to get any experience from this turret whatsoever, or from the creep wave whatsoever. And they're going to be able to take out this turret on this wave and deny a whole hell of a lot in the meantime.
Wow.
Someday has a level advantage now as well.
Yeah, this is going to be another pretty good 1v1 for Someday once this tower goes down and he can swap back up.
Yeah, this is pretty much the worst possible thing that could have happened to Samsung. Again, they had to get this early advantage in order to have a lot of hope in terms of winning this game. And the fact that Arrow was able to get so much gold early on is just going to accelerate his growth and his tankiness. Notice they reversed the wave right there on the turret, so Someday is going to be able to get some safe farm in the top side, while Cuvée is going to have to overextend and put himself vulnerable to ganks. There's a lot of wards already from KT in the top side, making it even more difficult. And Eve just hasn't been able to do anything this game after that quick invade from KT Rolster.
Yeah, they were able to get some good wards down in KT's side of the bottom jungle at least, but both Eve and Cuvée are just really far behind right now. It's going to be tough.
Here comes Cuvée, but Rek'Sai already there in the enemy jungle. They want to make this gank work.
Well, it looks like they'll be able to. I mean, there's no turret for Cuvée to go back to. He's fighting
advantage
with Someday right now. Yeah, Cuvé's got his flash, but he's going to be so far behind. Score coming over the wall. There's the knock-up as well. There's just no way Cuvée gets out of this one, not even bothering to flash. He knows he's dead, and that's a kill early on for Someday.
They tried to get a ward right there, but Score went through the unwarded choke point into the jungle and took the long way around. So there really wasn't anything Kube could do. He really needs help from Eve to get control over that side of the jungle, but he's again just finding himself falling further and further behind Someday for the second game in a row.
Yep.
And, I mean, it is risky for him to walk up given that circumstance, and it was risky for him to start on the side of the jungle that he did in the lane swap, but it's great punishment here from KT Rolster to keep him down.
Yeah, KT's still looking extremely good this game, too. And so it'll be interesting to see how Samsung is able to kind of move on from this, if they'll be able to at least be sort of a middle-of-the-pack team. It's still so early to kind of speculate, I guess, but certainly having trouble with KT. And KT doesn't just look like they maintained what they had at the end of last season. They really look like they got a lot better.
Yeah, their play is much more clean in the series we've seen tonight. Again, this isn't the top flight of competition in this league by any means, but Samsung has definitely improved, and KT keeping up and just playing with a patience and a forethought that we didn't see for most of last season from these players.
Yeah. Wow, Someday's so far ahead right now. Here's Luna. Are they maybe going to try to dive here? They know he's there. Oh, Score comes over. Luna knocks him away. They try for the slow from Fixer, but they can't land it. Dragon up in a little less than 2 minutes as well, too, so we'll see if maybe Samsung can claim the second one. It'll help them maintain a bit of relevance.
So Samsung did a good job right there, just making sure that Kube was safe so he could push the wave into the turret and break this freeze that KT was engineering. So nice help from Eve and from Luna on that one, but Someday's level 6, Kube's level 4. This is a pretty big disaster at the moment.
It's going to be tough to fight that. Eve's coming up too, and I think that kind of tips off Someday. Well, they had a ward actually, so they could see him go through that tri-brush.
Yep, they have nice wards. They know everything that's going on right now. Someday just trying to hold the wave in as dangerous a position against Kube as he possibly can. Now, Fury does, or did rather, have a nice little CS lead. That has all but evaporated right now. And KT with a really early 2,000 gold lead.
Well, as Samsung, you know, where you're going to fall off in the late game, what do you do right now?
Well, it's hard because
play, don't you?
what is Fury going to do? Okay, well, Fury is actually behind in gold. Arrow's going to build Frozen Heart pretty soon after he completes his Muramana, and then we'll see what Someday goes after the Cinder Hulk is completed. He may just decide just to go pure tank because of the relative lack of damage from this Samsung Galaxy composition. But
I suppose he could.
Fury is just, this is not going to do damage once the KT Rolster team hits 2, 3 core items. And there isn't anyone else to fill that gap. Maokai, Morgana, not exactly high damage champions.
Well, Score, seeing people with that tremor sense. But I think he's going to have to let this red buff go. Yeah. Well, Dragon's up anyway now, so KT can take that and equalize, which I think is a pretty good trade. Doesn't look like Samsung is too interested in trying to stop them. And so, looks like KT gets an easy Dragon to equalize. And so, the one little thing that Samsung had at that point over KT is gone.
And I really don't mind Samsung's composition right here. They do have a clear plan of what they wanted to do in the early game with this Kalista first pick and the Lee Sin pick. It logically makes sense, but the execution was just so poor early on, and they got delayed so much by that first blood that they're just almost certainly going to miss a timing window that they needed absolutely to hit. Here we go.
Whoa, ultimate from Someday
8 to 5 levels. This is just an insane denial by KT Rolster.
Yeah.
They have done a fantastic job of keeping Kube down, and he's been trying, I mean, they've been trying to help him, but there's simply not very much they can do for Maokai. At least Kube's going to hit 6 off of this big, big wave, which is being shoved down his throat in the top lane.
Yeah. And Someday doesn't even need to get kills. All he needs to do is just kind of push him back and keep things shoved.
Yeah, the fact they couldn't deny that wave, though, you can see Eve up there again, just making sure that there isn't going to be a tower dive situation developing. They're doing everything they can to make it so Kuve gets back in, but when Lee Sin has his time devoted this way, and as well as the Alistar having to roam into the top lane just to break that freeze, you can't make plays with the Kalista. So
here we go, Score trying to make a play on the Kalista. There's a nice low, great stun, great position reverser. Fury just getting taken apart by KT. That was a really great chaining of CC. Fury did not have a chance there.
Everything that KT is doing is benefiting them so much. So they're tying up Lee Sin on the opposite side of the map to get Kuve back into the game, which means they can't make plays for the Kalista to get the Kalista fed, and that means that Sunday's pressure, by forcing the jungler up there, frees up Score to go down and then kill the Kalista, which makes it even worse for Samsung. I mean, this series has been very intelligent jungling by Score.
I mean, it's really scary to kind of think about what KT can do now this season, where they still have Score making those decisions that, you know, kept them relevant last season, and when you add to that now the rest of the team catching up, the benefit that Fixer gives KT, this could easily be a top 4 team we're seeing.
Yeah,
they almost were last season, I suppose.
I'm just impressed that this is even a different KT team than we saw at the end of last season. This level of calculated play is a new dimension to KT Rolster.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing them play against SKT, GE, you know. Oops, Score, oops, walking right into that one. Yep, that was an easy kill.
He was trying to be tricky right there with the pink ward, but the ward over, cutting off his escape route, and then he unburrowed instead of tunneling under the wall. So that was a bit of a misplay from Score.
Well, of course, I suppose. Of course, right after we talk about how good he is, yeah. This is the rule of casting, guys. If you ever talk about how great a player is, they'll immediately do something really dumb. Yep, it's true. It applies to any game as well, too. The laws of the universe. Here comes giant enemy Crab God. He's really not that giant, though. He's kind of like average enemy Crab God.
Is he even an enemy? Is he an enemy to his own team?
He's an enemy to Samsung, that's for sure. Medium friendly Crab God. Or medium neutrally inclined Crab God.
Oh, Arrow's actually going Black Cleaver on Urgot right now. Interesting. Of course, that item newly revamped, I should say.
Yep.
On patch 5.8, so it's a little bit different Urgot build than we've seen before, but makes sense. Gets Urgot even tankier, lowering those cooldowns just a little bit and giving him that shred that he does so well with. Synergized nicely with the Hecarim in the top side as well. Someday, I'm curious what he's going to go after he gets these Merc treads. If he wants to go full damage just to deal with Fury, might be a good idea.
So I haven't played with the LT Gray Braum skin
It's pretty great, isn't it?
It is. It's pretty awesome. But I'm just wondering if they have like an emote where he like unfolds a chair really fast and sits in it and says, "This is going to be good." I feel like if they don't have that, they've really missed a huge opportunity. So
I had never even thought of that, Doa, but it's pretty sad if that isn't part of that skin.
I just feel like it's got to be, but if it's not, I'm going to be pretty put out about it. Pretty upset. Pretty rustled. My jimmies will be rustled on that one.
Well, Kuve actually starting to catch up in terms of levels in CS. Well, not really levels. He's still 2 levels down, and Someday is running amok on the map at the moment.
Pretty much.
All right, so there is a ping. They do know that he's there. Wolf Spirit does detect Someday's attempted roam onto the mid lane. Looks for something to do. Well, the rest of his lane is just pushed up before he gets this rather substantial minion wave. Nogday is choosing to go Echo, it would appear, as a second item onto LeBlanc. Not sure about that one. That's a little weird.
Why not? Just because it bounces back and adds even more damage onto the Kalista.
I mean, usually, I mean, if you want to play LeBlanc as a poke champion, then I guess you can just constantly distort onto the enemy team and proc the Echo, but it's just not going to be doing quite as much work for you in terms of burst damage with your combo as a Death Cap would.
He'll get that next. It's okay.
I suppose this could be a reaction to the fact that he's playing against a Morgana. So he's not counting on being able to burst anybody down, and so is just going to plan to repeatedly W on people and get some more AoE damage down during a team fight. But
that
still
sounds much more likely.
It's still not great.
Well, someday. Still pretty far ahead of Cuvée here. Decent amount of CS and still level as well. But Cuvée tanky enough now that he doesn't have to immediately run away at least. All right, KT with another easy dragon. I mean, there's not much to really say at this point. KT just really playing everything out perfectly, and there's not seeming to be a lot that Samsung can do about it. Ooh, Luna, dangerous warding there. He'll get away with his life at least.
Some more damage coming in from those Urgot Qs. And here we go. Just push them off the tower, make sure that they can take this objective. It looks like they're going to back away. They shouldn't have been afraid of the jungler. They have enough wards right there to know whether Lee Sin was there or not, but just playing it ultra cautiously, I suppose. Now,
makes sense.
So they're just going to recall, so no imperative by KT to win this game immediately. They're just going to take it slow and steady.
Certainly works. Not quite as action-packed as maybe I would prefer, but it does work. I don't really count top lane as any place where action occurs. It's sort of just, you know, two guys running into each other. It's sort of like once in a while they ult, nothing really happens.
This series has been nothing if not methodical from KT. They're playing about as conservatively as you can, taking as many high percentage advantages as possible, really punishing the top lane in both of these games beautifully.
True enough. And Crown, you know, just like last game, seems pretty much negligible across his influence on the map.
Well, I mean, you're playing Morgana. You're not going to be doing a whole lot in terms of influence on the map early on in this one. They just picked it because they wanted to deal with the LeBlanc in the mid lane. But unfortunately, it's put them in a position where they don't have sufficient damage in other places. Here we go.
All right, they're going to try to make a pick here. Oh, but immediately not working out. They're going to try to throw him in, but a nice knockback on the score. And Fury's still in big trouble. There's another position reversal right into Fixer. They get that Braum passive. One more hit will proc the stun. Someday comes in to finish him off. Meanwhile, nice knock-up onto Cuvée and Luna. And do they have enough damage onto Cuvée here? Maybe it's pretty close. Luna knocking people away to try to save his top laner. It looks like it'll work for now. Here comes Crown. Ooh, that may not be the best place to be ever. Looks like he might be able to escape your score. Gets a knock-up, though. I spoke too soon. Crown in a lot of trouble. Nagne with a kill there. Oh, and they caught Cuvée in the brush.
Nice flash from Score.
No kidding. Well, I think he saw him with the tremor sense and knew exactly where he was. Meanwhile, another turret goes down for KT, so a bit dicey at the beginning, but KT turns around and wins a big fight.
You gotta, if you're Samsung, you have to make a play there. You need to see if you can get back into this game. So can hardly fault them for that. But as soon as the TPs come in, given how far ahead Someday is, and he had just gone back, he has a Sheen now, so he will be going for that Trinity Force to make up for the lower damage from Arrow. There's just not. The difference is too great. I mean, it's easy for KT to win these team fights right now and snowball this game out. So nice attempt from Samsung, but KT responding appropriately and taking home that team fight win. Eve desperately attempting to get these minions off the turret and save his mid lane tower. Meanwhile, blue buff is taken. So I mean, they check the brush with the corrosive charge right there, and then it's a nice knock-up. And then we see there's Someday coming in immediately after that. Fury just targeted. He's the only source of damage. And as soon as he's dead, there's just really nothing Samsung can do to win this fight. All they've got left are crowd control. Luna does a good job of stopping the final Q from Urgot from going down, headbutting him into the wall right there to save his ally. And there is...
They got a pick. And now Fury, well, they throw Alistar over the wall for the knock-up on the Arrow, but Score is right there. Crown is already really low. An easy kill for Urgot. Position reverser onto Fury again, and immediately just blown up. And that's going to be another turret in just a moment. Arrow can just walk up and poke it.
Yeah, they got a pick right there. Did what they could do, but Arrow just very far ahead. Nice flash over the wall to finish up those kills and to trap Fury. And now Samsung losing that kill trade. 1 for 2, and then the mid lane tower finally getting knocked down as well. So just an enormous gold lead here at 20 minutes for KT Rolster.
Yeah, it really is. Probably one of the bigger gold leads we've seen so early in a long time. Yep, there's Dead Morgana. That's Crown.
Poor Crown was actually 1-0-0 up at one point in this game.
He tried. He's still only 1-2-1, which isn't the worst ever, but it's not the best ever either.
And Kube, Kube is kind of the victim of team decisions this game as well. He got in a situation where that little difference in terms of the jungle pathing early on cost him. But KT has been punishing so incredibly hard in this best of 3 tonight.
Well, Samsung's trying to get this mid lane turret, but KT coming in from the flank. Score may try something here. Nah, just letting him go past for now. Mid lane turret getting very low, but still no turrets at all for Samsung. And at this point, KT's going to be staying on that side of the map and anyway, just because Dragon's coming out in about 30.
Okay, well, they're just going to go ahead, secure their third Dragon of the game, I should say. 4th overall. Go ahead, wait for it right now. Make sure they've got all those wards cleared out. Nice couple of pinks right by the pit. Deep wards at the red buff as well, just in case. One more ward gone, thanks to Fixer. And I mean, Fury, he just has this Bloodthirster right now as the armor is going to start piling on here. Score working towards Randuin's, it would appear, and now Frozen Heart started for Arrow.
This Kalista does no damage.
This Kalista does no damage at all.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Crown would if he got close enough, but I don't think that's really going to happen. Another Dragon. That's the 3rd one now for KT. And as one-sided as the first game was, this one is even more so. Binding onto Fixer there, but Crown with any follow-up, does he have it? Pops that ultimate, goes after Fixer. Looks like he may get a kill there. It looks like he will.
Nice play by Crown, actually.
Yeah.
And Crown has definitely been holding his own this series. It's been mostly teamwork flaws within Samsung that are costing them here. And just to know your limits well enough and to go in the 1v2 and take out the support, nice play.
Yeah, well, Crown continues to be a bright spot on this Samsung team as well, too. He definitely seems like a move in the right direction for the mid lane from Bliss and Ace.
Yeah, gotta agree with that one.
Time to defend the mid lane turret. Looks like they might have to give this one up. Or not. They clear the minions. Oh, they're going in. There's binding on to Eve. Eve, a little bit low. Score gets knocked back in. Tanky enough that he doesn't really care too much. And here comes Someday from the flank. Going to try to make something happen. He's waiting for the rest of his team to catch up. They use positioner for reverser on the Eve. Meanwhile, there's a big ult hitting everybody left on the team. Guve stuck in the middle, gets taken out. A couple low health members on KT, but really nothing to worry about there. A great ult from Someday to follow up that position reverser and just make sure that nobody on Samsung could respond.
Yep, they're going to go ahead and take the mid lane turret, transition immediately into this Baron as well, it would appear. They should have the HP on Someday in order to clean this one up. Someday 3-0-4 with a 70 CS advantage at this point in time. Nagne standing in a ward.
It's a cool place to hang out, you know.
Void Rush gets Score back with full HP, so will be easy, uncontested Baron right now. KT slowly working their way through it. They don't have the best composition for doing this Baron particularly quickly.
Oh, flash pulverize. Nagne gets knocked back up. Oh, he gets out of the binding. Not bad. Meanwhile, Baron's still alive. Finally goes down. KT takes it up. It looks like Samsung wants to fight here. Fixer a bit low. KT has to flee. They'll get a couple kills out of it. Someday and Fixer taken out. Double kill for Fury, but the Baron's still taken by KT.
That was a really good response, actually, from Samsung to come in. They had the vision onto Nagne, so Luna making a play right there to eliminate Nagne before he could burst somebody down. Just kick him right out of that team fight. And they follow up due to the slow Baron speed of KT's composition.
Right.
So Someday now starting to build up that armor as well. Frozen Heart done for Arrow. Meanwhile, Runen's Hurricane will be the item of choice for Fury, but without any kind of armor penetration, it does seem unlikely that he's actually going to be able to burst through anybody in these team fights.
Yeah, probably. Meanwhile, Nagne's just going to grab the enemy blue buff. Easily enough. And we'll see how fast KT can close this one out.
Pretty quickly. Should be. Unfortunately for KT, they did lose the Baron buff onto Someday, so their 4-1 split going to be weaker. That's actually pretty huge that Samsung managed to get that kill, because it would have been a lot easier for them to close considering the advantage that this Hecarim has. I mean, we look at Kube right now, he's got it finished as a Righteous Glory. Not even that Frozen Heart yet. So he would not be in the best position to deal with a Baron-empowered split push from the Hecarim.
No, definitely true. Looks like his team's going to help him out anyway. And KT aiming for that bottom lane. Fury and Luna are there already. That's his crown. And of course, with that Rune and Hurricane, they've got plenty of wave clear.
Yeah,
add Morgana into that.
I think that's the hope right now, is that the Hurricane will just help them turtle as much as they possibly can.
Oh, are they going to get close enough to do something? Look at all that damage on the ground. Someday going deep to try to finish him off. A flash from Score to get the job done. And KT just all over Samsung right now. Fury kiting backwards, getting damage onto KT, but not a lot. They're just too tanky right now. KT wants a turret, they'll take a turret. They can pretty much get whatever they desire at this point.
Yeah, a great dive right there, just following up on this massive gold lead that they had. They can push forward. Arrow just going to tank that right away.
Yeah, handing it off to Score there as well, too. And it's going to be an inhibitor for the KT Rolster team. Easy. Making it look pretty easy.
KT's made this whole series look pretty easy.
Yeah, they have. Yes, they have. And, you know, we saw Fury doing some pretty good tanking that last fight, but just not able to really do any damage.
So out the gate again. Looks like they want to pick up a red buff, probably a 4th dragon, and then move in for the kill onto Samsung.
I would imagine.
This has been, I thought this series would be relatively one-sided, though, but I didn't think it was going to be this one-sided.
Yeah, well, you know, I think we're seeing two things here. You know, some decent-sized flaws kind of being exposed in Samsung's play right now, and also KT just being probably better than anyone was expecting them to be in this very first match. And yeah, you could say it's against one of the weaker teams in the league at the moment, but KT still has improved quite a bit since Champion Spring, at least in this initial match anyway.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them take on teams like SK Telecom and CJ now.
Yeah.
To see how they hold up in those situations. And looks like, okay, just continue to push up these super minions, keep Samsung occupied while they wrest control over the Dragon Pit right now, and that's what they're going to get, just waiting patiently for him to hop down to his doom. No, don't go in, Dragon.
Oh, it's like, I got it. I can take these guys. See, I knocked them back. No.
You totally can't take those guys.
Not working. It's like, no, attack the AD carry, Dragon.
I don't know, the AD carry has a lot of armor and HP, so.
Why focus tank? Report Dragon 9X.
They're both tanks.
One's more of a tank? I don't know.
So 2 Frozen Hearts done now. Pretty much no way for this Kalista to do much of anything any longer.
Pretty much. And KT just moving to the other side lane to take out the tier 2 there. It's the final tier 2 left on the map for Samsung, and it's gone.
Fixer has a QSS.
Trying to stay safe against the Morgana ult, maybe. I don't know.
Questionable.
Morgana ult is serious business, man.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Nagne trying to blow people up now. And
wow.
Again, with the Black Shield, it's not really going to be too possible, but still doing a decent amount of damage.
Still, forcing Crown to use the Black Shield on himself is really nice, because that means you can follow up dive with a lot of the CC that they have. And Nagne getting through 50% even with the Black Shield, so.
It's impressive stuff.
Auto the turret.
Yep. Oh, Nagne coming in for more damage this time on the Eve, it looks like.
They're waiting for this minion wave to develop in the bottom side before they really make a commitment to any of these inhibitors right now. Rapidly moving between mid and top lane. And that tower's nearly done.
Well, they can swap back and forth as much as they want at this point, and eventually Samsung's going to lose a turret.
That Luden's poke from LeBlanc is actually working better than I thought it would. Oh, there's QSS on the biting.
Hey, it's a good thing he bought it, you know? That could have been dangerous. Better safe than sorry, Monty. Those turrets pretty low in mid. But KT, you know, with a minute until Baron, maybe they'll just take that. What am I saying? Maybe. Of course they're going to go take the Baron.
Well, they have to go deal with this super minion on their Nexus turret right now, and KT is patient as can be.
Oh, there was the damage. No black shield that time.
Ow.
Wow, that was 100-0 right there. Turret goes 100-0 at the same time. A little bit more damage onto Luna. Quite a bit. Luna tries to flash ahead for the pulverize, doesn't quite get it. Meanwhile, KT playing things very safe, just playing on the outside of those ranges for the champions. Nothing that Samsung can do as they're pushed all the way back to the Nexus. And it's going to be another easy inhibitor for KT. There it goes. Why not grab the one in mid at the same time?
All three inhibitors now. And, man, Nagne just continually poking in, trying to find that angle. Eventually finds the weak point in the armor of Samsung and exploits it immediately. That big kill right there, 13,000 gold to 10,000. And look at that, 5,000 gold advantage for Someday. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's at this point in the game, you usually see the winning team with a 5,000 gold advantage overall. You don't see a 5,000 gold advantage for the top laner against the enemy top laner.
Look what KT did right there, too. So Score just stuck around in front of the Baron pit until the rest of his team had recalled bot and then returned, just to make sure that there wasn't any chance of a counter Baron play from Samsung. And with that Void Rush, so just really well coordinated from KT, even in a position where it would take a miracle for Samsung to win this game.
Well, they're smart. They're just really not giving Samsung any windows at all to come back.
They sure are not.
Yeah, and that's a very clean way to close out the game. Now with that Baron buff, we'll see just how quickly they can get in there. I mean, all the minion waves are coming down right now. Arrow just loves to dance. But what giant enemy crab god doesn't love to dance?
I'd dance if I was a giant enemy crab god dog.
Exactly. You could do like dances for 2 people just by yourself because you've got 4 legs. It's pretty cool. Not like swing dances. You couldn't like flip yourself over your own shoulder or anything like that. You could do like a waltz maybe.
I don't know. Urgot's pretty nimble when it comes to flipping people around, so.
It's true. But that's technology, man. That's not physical prowess. Oh, wow. A lot of damage onto Luna there from Nagne. Position reverser on the ground. They're just going to grab him, it looks like. Arrow gets pushed back way deep towards the enemy Nexus. He might get taken out here. Yes, he will indeed. But KT manages to get the kill on the mid laner from Samsung anyway. Guve, there we go. Someday taking a lot of damage. Fury kiting backwards still. That's a double kill now for Someday, though, as they bulldoze their way farther to the base. Oh, Fury gets taken down. Nagne with the finishing blow there. Someday. Get out of that. Get out of the fountain, Super Minion. What are you doing? Oh, KT playing with their food. Nagne does not make it out. A kill for Eve. But there goes the Nexus, and KT with a very convincing 2-0 over Samsung here on Champion Summer. Samsung certainly looking improved from last season, but KT improved even more so. And KT, wow, I can't wait to see KT against some of the top teams.
Yeah, just absolutely smothering play from KT tonight. I mean, it may not have been too exciting in terms of mechanical plays or a lot of team fights or anything like that, but just the precision and the strategy involved in KT's win was very beautiful. So
yeah.
Samsung, I think, needs to go back to the drawing board. I think their tendency to fast push was figured out and exploited by KT in the drafts this evening.
I mean, there's a difference between like getting eaten by a pack of velociraptors where it's just like really action-packed and all that,